Open up the meeting of the planning board, April 1st, 2024 at 6:30. There are no scheduled public hearings or open public meetings. Move on to the regular meeting. 1.0, call to order.
Patrick Perla.
Here.
Paul Weiser.
Here.
Sal Chacone.
Yeah.
John Souza. Tom Kerrigan, excused. Jason Parre. Dean Valier, excused. Carol Vittorioso.
Here. Minutes of previous meetings, 2.1, none at this point. 3.0, plan submitted. 3.1, A&R for 99 and 105 Farm Hill Road, map 504, lots 31 and 33. We have someone to present this. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. My name is Greg Roy with Dolson Roy. I'm here to represent the applicant this evening. My client is Tim Spilios at 105 Farm Hill Road. He is seeking to purchase a small parcel of land from his neighbor at 99 Farm Hill Road, Mr. Cromwell, and has negotiated that purchase. So we prepared a plan that created parcel A out of 99 Farm Hill Road, which is out of the Cromwell piece of land that will ultimately be purchased by Mr. Spilios at 105. Both resulting parcels will still, there'll be no change in frontage. Both resulting parcels will have the required land area in the zoning district, so.
Which is 1 acre, right?
Which is 1 acre, yes.
So by taking parcel A out, we're still left with an acre, 45,000 square feet.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And it was a situation where Spilios has been using some of the land, just historically mowing it, and so I think that Cromwell's looking to sell, and there was an opportunity there, so they worked out an agreement to purchase a piece of land. I move to endorse.
Second.
Motion made and second. There's plenty of frontage on a public way. Motion made and second to endorse. All those in favor, roll call vote.
Patrick Perla.
Yes.
Paul Weiser.
Yes.
Sal Chacone.
Yes.
John Souza. Tom Kerrigan, excused. Jason Parre.
Yes.
Dean Valier, excused. Carol Vittorioso.
Yes. Okay.
Alright, we'll have this ready for you in the morning.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thank
you.
All right. 4.0, old business, there is none. 5.0, new business, there is none. 6.0, communication, Quarry Estates subdivision conservation restriction from November 3rd, 1994. Board to review restriction and to decide what course of action to
Okay.
take.
So there's some background to this. I have done 2 site inspections of this property, of this open space parcel that's part of the subdivision for Quarry Estates. And I think the health department
That's
has
off
done
of
Colonial,
Colonial.
and the health department has done an additional inspection. And what we have found, I think I have pictures, is they were dumping yard waste into the open space parcel.
Who's they,
We don't, there's different people dumping. It's
So the landscaper or individual people?
the builder or
the people that
in the
abut the
neighborhood?
property are dumping, you
Dumping
can
onto
kinda see the
their
debris
property.
there.
So people are dumping onto their property.
Onto the open
The
parcel.
open space parcel, which is still owned by the developer.
So who's putting did somebody put a complaint in? Or is just,
A neighbor is complaining because when it rains, the debris gets into her pool.
Okay. So what is the covenant? tell us?
So the open space conservation restriction says that the planning board or the planning board's designee has to enforce this dumping. So the planning board can designate somebody, you can designate the health inspector's already written a letter months ago
to the
on
neighbors?
to the developer.
Oh, to the developer.
Well, he owns the land, so he's responsible for
That's
for
right,
it.
and he should be the one that's held accountable to
Except
either
that's not what
clean it
this
up.
says, which is weird. It says neither the grantor nor its successors will perform any of these acts. Instead,
That's
we
right.
grant the city of Leominster planning board. Why would we agree to this? They're
Because
ready to
we
enforce
restricted
it.
it, conservation restriction.
So we're supposed to make sure there are no signs and no soil, no gravel, no rocks, no road, no trees.
Everybody in the city that abuts woods or open parcels does the same.
And designate the planning board as the enforcer.
Well, it would be the building inspector, wouldn't it?
You can designate the building inspector if you want, but I think more,
Or the
if you want
conservation.
more to get done, the conservation agent would be more appropriate, or the health inspector.
Is this primarily just yard waste though, and not like
It's
garbage?
It's not garbage, it's yard waste.
So leaf sticks,
Leaves,
I saw
sticks.
some pipes
Trees,
in here.
grasses, or vegetation, otherwise. Oh.
It's up to you, that's
I saw some pipes. in
No, the
here.
other piece of this is we have $13,900 in an account for this subdivision. So I don't know if you wanna go down the same path that you did with Sawyer Way, and if you wanna like have me get the DPW to do an estimate for the cost to finish the roads. And get this declared in default if the developer doesn't wanna finish it. And then get the money and use that money.
So the development is built.
Yeah.
Those lots are still owned, but they're in conservation trust, so to speak, right?
This one is not, it's an open space, but it's still owned by the developer, it never got put into conservation.
It's
never
supposed to get put in conservation.
It never
wasn't
got put dedicated to the city, so it's still
So
owned,
he still needs to do that
still owned
as
by the
part
developer.
as part of what we asked for when we approved this. He's supposed to grant that land to the city of Leominster, right? John?
Yes, John?
Yeah, they had a choice. Yeah, the developer could hold it, have the homeowners association,
Yep,
or turn it over to the city. So in that case, the developer decided to hold it
yep.
as open space. And, he's gotta pay the taxes on it.
So then he should be cleaning it
So I don't
up,
know if he's been paying the taxes, what?
because under the restrictions, he's responsible for the cleanup, right?
Yes,
That is correct.
So why don't we send him a letter saying he's gotta clean it up and we're gonna move toward taking what money he still has in the kitty,
Right,
right?
exactly.
well, we still have rights to that because the roads,
The road's not finished either,
I have to check with DPW to get
because that
that,
should be done already, right? The road, I mean,
The roads.
it's built out already,
it's
right?
built out.
Where is it?
Colonial,
Colonial
and there's
Drive.
one other road,
That's
It's
a
on
drive.
Exchange Street.
yeah,
So I have no objection.
Colonial Drive goes between two streets, it's not.
Yeah, that's
off
from
that.
Exchange Street over to Elm Street, right? Or not Elm Street,
Yeah.
Exchange
Elm
over to
I mean, to
It
Granite
was a
Street.
grant.
Granite Street, right?
So this
This is old.
can't be,
So where's
this
the
is
front?
1994.
so where is it that they're,
Well, that was
You're
major,
dumping it, the open space parcel is behind the houses.
in
all the way
between the houses and the high
Between the
school,
house-
or in between the houses and
and the land
It's in their
between.
houses
backyards.
on Granite Street in
On
Commonwealth
Colonial,
Circle?
if you look at Colonial.
Yep.
The houses all have backyards abutting the open space parcel.
And that open space parcel feeds down to the brook that got flooded out, right?
What I'm
I
saying
don't
is,
know
so
about
in
that.
between Colonial Drive and the high school
I don't know,
yard, the fields behind the high
It's on
school,
the other side,
Yes, the other side,
the other side,
right.
going towards.
That's, yep. So if you're on
Up the
Colonial
street.
Drive, what's that? That's the road past the high school, right?
Mhm.
That goes over to Exchange Street.
Correct.
Would be, if you were driving toward Exchange
Continuous.
Street, would be the land on the right, I believe.
No,
No, the land on the left.
Colonial Path, if you're going to the high school, you go by the road to high school, you go up to Exchange Street, it's on your right. You get Colonial, and then you get this one.
Commonwealth
Or
Circle.
East
So if you hit Exchange Street, that's when they had the flood. When they had the 11 inches of water, they had
That's
the
farther
major
down
flood
Exchange
there that made all that, so could this all be run off from that flood because it encroached a big piece of that
Well,
area?
he's saying that it's on the other side of the street, in between
Doesn't matter,
Colonial and Commonwealth Circle.
Colonial Commonwealth
It's
Circle, but it's still all that water from the old,
No, the water came from the other side, Sal.
Okay, either way,
So I have no objection to trying to take money
Yeah.
from this thing, but that's only a temporary solution.
Right.
Because there's not a lot of money there and this will continue
Well-
to occur, so.
They
what
need
type
to
of
put signs
enforcement-
up. I think one solution is to ask the owner, the developer to put signs up that say no dumping.
You think that'll matter?
Can we request them to come to the meeting?
yeah, why don't we have him come to a meeting and we'll talk to him directly and see what the problem is. And he should have finished that road by now, at the very least. That road
It's a
should have been done.
long-term solution.
We only have $3,000 in it?
13.
So who we inviting, the
The developer.
Horgan,
Mark D.
No.
Morgan.
he's the developer, and owner.
I don't know.
Is that Mark Hogan?
It is.
well, I'm sorry, but there's a homeowner who's complaining about the,
The yard waste going in there.
About yard waste going into her pool when
I
it
don't know.
rains, when there's a storm.
but does she know who's doing it?
Yes, but I'm not gonna, I don't wanna,
You don't have
she's
to.
pointing fingers at this person, this person, this person, and this person.
She probably does it too.
And there's no proof, I mean, it's, you,
They all
that's a
do.
whole rabbit hole to go down, chasing after people that are dumping.
But, alright, I mean, but,
Let's get him in here and talk to him. Cause I'm really,
Someone
what's problematic to me more so than the
signed
dumping
over
of
to us.
leaves and
We need
sticks
somebody
is
to
not
enforce it.
finished the road.
That's what she said.
It was never signed over to us?
We need somebody to enforce
That's
it,
what
right
the-
now it
the
says
open
the planning board,
space?
but we can
No,
designate
no
Well,
sign
why don't we-
conservation by the developer.
why don't we just give it to the Conservation Commission?
Well,
Yeah.
that was the original suggestion.
That was my suggestion.
That's what the city solicitors,
Well, then,
Sounds-
they're saying we should seek we should send them a letter, or we would wanna check with the conservation agent.
so the motion would be that we designate the conservation agent as our enforcement mechanism?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, they're their own enforcement, seeing it's conservation land, right?
Well, but they have to be our, the
It's
covenant
not
says
yet.
the planning
Says
board or its designee,
Yeah.
so
It's,
so the
It's
motion
not
is that
yet.
the conservation
Maybe it's
is
not
our
yet.
designee to
Right.
enforce this.
Yeah, it says, finally, given that this involves a conservation restriction, you may want to check with the city's conservation agent to determine if the land at issue is under the jurisdiction of the Conservation Commission. If the
So,
Conservation Commission is going to get involved, the planning board may want to let them take the lead.
so are we ready for a motion or do we need to check with the conservation commission first?
I already checked with him, we've been working together on this, we've
Okay.
done inspections together, we've had a meeting.
And what
So
did
did they say, yeah,
He said he'd be willing to take this on if this was.
So
but
I
did they
move
say
that
that it was under conservation restriction as well?
No, he says that's not his jurisdiction, he says.
It's conservation, that helps, right?
So I move we designate the conservation agent as our designee to enforce the covenant.
second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to,
But
In
that
the
still doesn't
meantime-
address the problem of him never finishing the road.
Yeah,
Developer.
so in the
but is
meantime,
the issue the road?
Because
That's
the
not
solid-
big
but we,
for us,
but
is
we,
it?
while
You're
we're
gonna get
looking
hosed
at it,
on
we may as well address that because they've got some money and we wanna start going through all of these. Our plan is to go through all
Get
of
him in here, this we designate
We do both things.
conservation,
for the
like
dumping,
Paul's
but
motion.
Alright, well,
for the
but
road.
if we still have to deal with it, I'd rather deal with it all, so why don't we get the conservation agent here the same night that we're asking the developer to come in?
I'll withdraw the motion then and we'll
Yep.
motion and we'll move to table it until we can get the developer and the conservation agent to a meeting.
And what about the homeowner who's making the complaints?
They can wait.
Well, why can't they come in
Oh,
to
they
tell
can
us?
come in.
That's what I'm
You
saying,
can invite them,
yes.
Absolutely.
they're not obligated to come.
While we're still on the topic, if this land isn't signed over to us yet, is this legally?
Well, he was supposed to-
responsibility do we
he-
have to enforce this?
He signed the
This
covenant, he signed that covenant.
This is
that's in
this
there.
open conservation restriction that
Right.
this is that you're holding.
And that's signed by the developer.
So he signed responsibility over to us,
But not the land.
but not the land.
Yeah,
And And we accepted that?
Well, I think originally he was supposed to deed the land to the city, but they gave him the option of keeping it and, he pays the taxes on it. I don't know if he
Or
can
not.
still. Or not, we don't know. That's right.
All right,
I think
so
we need to hold him to
Let's
the
get the
plan to finish the road, or we're gonna have another problem
we're not
like we
gonna
had.
resolve it tonight, so do you want a motion to table, Carol, or do we?
Why don't we make it a motion to,
Invite all parties.
invite all parties, invite all parties.
Including the conservation agent who acts as our
The
district.
We
conservation
can see if they'll
agent,
come on May sixth.
The assessor.
Okay, sure.
Why the assessor?
Tax issues.
Because it's a
Well, we don't,
huge match.
I mean, but we
need
have no
that. We need that.
authority over that. The guys are paying the taxes, that's got nothing to do with us.
She doesn't have to come.
I just wanna know why the road isn't finished, that's what I wanna know, because we're gonna end up in another situation where we're gonna pull it out of pocket
So-
because we don't have enough to finish.
So the motion is to table this until the 6th of May, where we'll invite all of the participants to discuss the matter with us.
That works.
Yeah.
And all
I mean,
parties.
it's hard for us to make, I don't really know what the issue is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I know what the issue is, but I don't know the specifics.
All right, that's the motion.
And the second.
Okay, motion made second to invite conservation agent, homeowner making the complaints, and the developer.
No, in the meantime, do you want staff to go to DPW and have them inspect the road and do an estimate
Yeah,
for
I know,
what it's
because-
gonna be?
Because if
More
it's
information,
$100,000 and we got 30 grand, we're gonna be in trouble again because we probably already passed the statute of limitations on this one too.
Yep,
I think you said 13, not even 13.
it's $13,900.
This is
Isn't
older
gonna
than
be
sort of way.
changes of road.
So once again, we get taken.
Right, that's
Because we
cultural.
didn't have anybody inspecting the final build.
Mark's still around.
That's right, but I don't
Is
know
the
if he's,
expectation that someone's gonna be cleaning
I don't know if he's been building
the lot? Is that gonna fall in the DPW?
just
Well, that's what we
We
wanna
don't
talk
know
to the
yet.
developer about.
I mean, I think
The developer can do it.
we were
If
gonna
he
maybe
doesn't,
get the
then we'll-
conservation agent to work
Find
with the
him.
developer. He might be amenable to doing something, he might just be like, no, I'm not even coming, I'm not talking to you, I'm not dealing with it.
Well,
Let's find
then-
out.
I don't know,
he will because he's still, he's developing in this city, and if he doesn't, it's gonna be worse off on him.
Two parties and discussing,
Well, hopefully he'll
that
come.
all the parties should be
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, just tell him we want
we should have him
him
on.
here, and if he's got a problem, then tell us what night he can make it, because it's mandatory that he be here to
Yeah.
discuss this with us.
All right, you got a motion.
Okay, motion made
It
second.
is.
All those in favor, roll call vote.
Patrick Perla,
Yes.
Paul Weiser,
Yes.
Sal Chaconi,
Yes,
John Souza,
Yes,
Tom Kergnen, excused, Jason Parre,
Yes.
Dean Valier, excused, Carol Vittorioso.
Yes. Okay,
so if you get
That's
hold of
great
it.
wording.
7.0 Director's Report, Planning and Development Director's Report for April 1. 7.1.1 Sawyer Way, Day Street subdivision status update.
Okay, so after the last meeting, as the board directed, I wrote a letter to the mayor asking him for a status update for Sawyer Way with the time frame and what we can expect. And he deferred to the DPW, to Ray Racine. And Ray Racine wrote back, road is paved. And then I wrote back to Ray Racine asking him, okay, the road's paved, that's great.
What's next?
But did that use all of the funds?
No.
And do we have any other improvements planned? And I haven't gotten a response yet.
And Elizabeth, can you ask him about the granite bounds, the safety rails, they were supposed to do
I
safety rails?
asked and I didn't get a response yet. I'm gonna
These are a lot of parts.
keep following up
Yep.
until I get a more detailed.
But tell them, we're asking
The
about
safety
all those
rails,
other pieces, and we need to
Much
know,
better place than
we need to know if they, because they were supposed to prioritize.
They're supposed to prioritize the safety.
Well, the
And it was-
mayor was allowed to decide what gets done, and he
Correct.
decided to pave the road.
Well, that's okay,
Neighbors
but
probably.
they need to
But I don't know if that
prioritize
took all the
safety.
money.
So we need to find that out.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm still following up.
okay. Next update.
All right, then 7.1.2 DLTA application status update.
All right, I'm very excited to let the board know that our DLT application was accepted. We got a grant for $10,000 to look into what amendments we can do to zoning to allow for more housing in the city. And I had a meeting today with MRPC over at their offices with 4 of their staff and their GIS person. They're gonna start looking at GIS parcels. Where is their land, what can we develop? They're gonna look at a number of things in our zoning ordinance. And they're gonna work closely with the housing committee. If you want them to come in and work with the board, we can. But the housing committee was kind of assigned to do that. So I think it's a good place for them to work.
Yep.
And then if they come up with specific recommendations, then I think they should come to the planning board
Yep.
for consideration.
Good news,
Good.
thank you.
Excellent,
Yeah.
alright, no executive session,
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
motion made second to adjourn, all those in favor, roll call vote.
Patrick Perla,
Yes.
7 o'clock yet.
I know it.
Paul
We dragged it
Weiser,
out.
1 minute.
Sal Chaconi,
Yes.
John Souza,
No,
Tom Kerrigan,
Wait till 7.
excused,
yeah,
Jason Parre,
I'll take my vote.
Dean Valier, excused,
You're
Carol
overruled
Torioso.
anyway, John.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
Bye, John.